intro. And what I'm doing now is that I'm sharing the screen here at the same time
So we're doing a new experiment of live streaming this conversation. The audio only to YouTube, but you will able to see me, Stellan, and Bartola there. But everyone else coming up on stage, we're doing a new experiment of live streaming this conversation. The audio
and you have to be quiet for a while, Michael. We have to give us 1 minute to start everything. Okay?
Stellan and Bartola there, but everyone else coming up on stage, we're doing a new experiment of live streaming this conversation. The audio
and then you have to be quiet for a while, Michael. We have to give us 1 minute to start everything. Okay?
Everyone else coming up on stage, we're doing a new experiment of live streaming.
We are creating the world we're now living in. We are competing in. We are repeating in. We are believing in. It's time for us to shift our mind. We are best in the world to best. We are the world. Make decisions intentional. To take decisions intentional. Making decisions intentional. Make decisions intentional. To take decisions intentional. Making decisions intentional. It creates the world to mind a shift. Intentionality. Perceptuality.
Is it a quiet room?
We are choosing
No, it's not the quiet room.
shift
We're
our
going to start
mind
this conversation.
to best for the world. Best for our
Great. Thanks for inviting me in, Michael. I'm not going to stay too long. I want to remind everybody that BitCloud is really taking off. I've been on BitCloud for super fun. So I've created a learning society move forward. I just want to remind everybody that BitCloud is really
Okay, so I'm sorry I interrupted you earlier. We tried to have a quiet minute because we had an intro going on YouTube, but it wasn't quiet, but it doesn't matter. So now we are on both Clubhouse, and we then stream this conversation here to a YouTube account. If you want to check that, of course, you can do that. It's there's a short link called bit.ly.
I will tweet out the link. So
okay, you tweet out the link. That's great. So Michael tweets out the link, and if anyone wants to check the YouTube stream, you can watch it there. So if you come up to the stage and want to share something, you have to be aware that we're streaming it on YouTube. Okay. So the two hosts here, Michael and Batula, help us out.
Yeah. Hello everyone, welcome to Learning Society, the weekly Sunday room, Listen, Link and Learn. We're going to reflect on the week, but what have we learned, what have we been doing, what action have we been taking, and where we're going next, a reflection of the week. And Stellan also going to open us up with talking about the project he's been doing this week. So what have you been doing, Stellan, this week?
Yes, we're in the middle of a 48-hour live stream in the direction of best for the world. It's an idea that came upon a year ago exactly, and it was in the middle of March, and COVID struck the world, and there were so many things happening, and I would say fear was on a very high level, and anxiety was very high among people. And I would say that fear wasn't maybe in the same relation as reality. There was a reality, but fear was overwhelming everything. So what we wanted to do at that point was to tell another story, a story that some people had talked about and dreamed about for maybe years, decades, and so on. So we invited all people that we knew a year ago into a live stream. At that point, we had 4 days and 4 nights, so 96 hours of live broadcast. It ended up after 2 weeks, we had 100 people and 50 concepts live streaming around the clock. And now it has passed a year, and what we wanted to do was to reflect, but also set intent. So a year of change could of course be the year that we have all experienced, but it could also be the year that is in front of us. And the idea was then to have both reflection and intention at the same time. So right now we're in the middle of this 48 hours, because 96 was, it never ended. So for you who are in Clubhouse, that was what we had at that point. And I know that Clubhouse was up running at that point, but I would say that maybe not many were there. So we actually created such a thing, more or less. Not that fantastic as Clubhouse is, but nevertheless, a way to engage in those topics. It was everything from dialogue to dance, everything from yoga to monologues to conversations to panels and everything. So this is also what we had since yesterday. It's been now, I think we're in the 40th hour or something, 40 maybe. So we are broadcasting up until noon in the Central European time. So we still have, let's say, 16 hours left or something like that. So that's what people are doing, and people all over the world are engaged in those broadcasts. And if you want to engage, we still have some spots during, I think it's 5-6 hours from now. There are still spots left. So if you want to co-create, we can help you out, and we have everything set for it. bestfor.world. There you find everything about the broadcast, the concepts, the people, and the streams. So that's pretty much what has been going on. And we have also built 2 studios in my house in southern parts of Sweden. And so people have come in and then they left. And we have both now and a year ago, we have been very precautious about distances and stuff like that. And at the same time, life doesn't end. It's just going on in another way. So that's what we have done. And Michael, of course, as you all know, has his Captain Future show. So you were broadcasting 24 hours ago, I guess. So you almost entered the scene, and you had a 2.5 hour broadcast yesterday. So we have everything.
Great room.
And we also tried new concepts. Me and a friend here, we had an idea called Treehouse Talks just a couple of hours ago. I have a treehouse in my garden, so we went up there and had a dialogue on how can the tree as a metaphor help us as building more life into our organizations. And that was interesting. And so we were up in the treehouse for half an hour. Yeah. So it could be many ways. And now we have a new try here with connecting Clubhouse to this YouTube stream. And we use the technical stuff that we use. We have tried out a lot of things. It's actually a very simple setup. It's not iRig. I thought I would use that now, but we have an ordinary mixer with different microphones, and the iPhone is one of the microphones. So that is pretty much how we connect it right now.
Yeah, so I both shared on. If you go to my Twitter, it's the bottom of my profile. You can find the YouTube link if you want to see the face of me, Bertola and Stella. And you will also find a photo of Stellan's rigging there that I shared on my Twitter as well. So hello everyone, and welcome to the Learning Society room. This is our weekly reflection of the week. Today we experimenting how if you can take out the sound and live stream it on YouTube as the same time as we do talk here in Clubhouse, so we can share it to more people that's not on Clubhouse so far, and it seems to be working. So you can see and hear us on YouTube as well as here on Clubhouse. So everyone who comes up on stage, you will not be shown on YouTube, but we can hear your voices if you talk to people, so you're aware of that. That's so we have the red recording emoji in the title of this room. So welcome everyone, and share your reflection on your learning of the week. So we can start with you, Bertola, then. What have you learned
it's very
week?
interesting here because it's the first time I already see there is like small tricks with the mobile where when you have recording on the one side where you see people and then you speak on Clubhouse on the other side. So it's a little bit tricky where you put the equipment. I have 2 mobiles in this case, so I think it's a bit of learning, but it's pretty interesting. And I think it's a good here to test in the Learning Society. That's what we're all about, to listen and try out new things and connect. So yeah, let's see how it goes. And it has been a great week. We had a great session yesterday, very random, and Kevin Jones came in from Social Capital Markets. Turcos came in, and yeah, it was pretty dynamic. So let's see where today's conversation go. It's like the end of the week and the beginning of next week. So 3 months now on Clubhouse, and it has been a steep learning curve. So see where it goes. And Lynn, you're next. So maybe you want to share something.
Bertola and Michael, thank you so much. Nice to meet you, Stellan. Hi, Pravin. Hi, Ellen. Hi, all that watching.
Hi.
I'm 15 days in, to Clubhouse, and I'm just really grateful because I'm just building a lot of different partnerships and relationships, and finding BitCloud last night was super fun, and today I've been invited to rooms. So I haven't started a room yet. I'm kind of just pondering what that might look like. But Learning Society, I've been involved with Bert and Michael, met them both here in Berkeley area, Oakland area. And I've just really, my week has been about finding a new home. My building that I just moved in October for my doctorate, it just got sold. So I have to move again. So it's kind of like this daunting, moment for me. But we're working also with Torch. Torch Environment's coming up for Earth Day, and that's our year anniversary. So like what you were saying, Selim, we're doing a huge, our 4th event was last month, Torch Tech, and now we're a year in since COVID started. We did a marathon from sunrise in New Zealand all the way to sunset for Earth Day last year when COVID hit, and it was just amazing how many people came and how many connections and development happened at that point. And so creating now this next one feels like, am I going to do sunrise to sunset, or am I going to slow back down and just kind of be a little bit normal? But I think as we run these long marathon rooms, it's really fun. And I think the nostalgia of it is beautiful to feedback that we just need love right now still. And we're opening up a lot here in Berkeley. The restaurants are starting to open, and community, the theater opened. So it's kind of sweet just to see people's joy in their eyes right now. And I think that's what's beautiful right now for me. And I just am really blessed to meet new people. Pravin, so nice to see you here.
Lynn, thank you. I mean, it's a great initiative, and I really want to compliment you guys for streaming this live on YouTube. I think it's a great idea. And also, this reaches far beyond Clubhouse, and it takes these conversations onto other social networks as well. I'm 2 months into the Clubhouse. When I joined Clubhouse, I remembered the early days of internet opening up in India in mid 90s. It was all text chats. You will just go into log into internet and look for these chat rooms, crazily chat with unknown people, just connecting. This is a recreation of that moments on voice. I really feel like Clubhouse grows, remains the way it is, not looking into too much of commercialization and all sort of, influence coming from stronger personalities, communities, brands, and all. I feel like Clubhouse is becoming a platform for all those voices which rarely get an opportunity to speak up or express themselves or share their thoughts. I feel Clubhouse to a large extent in the current form is able to provide that platform. We hear so many unknown voices on this platform today. There's so many individuals come to share their stories, their life journeys, their experiences, their beliefs. It's so amazing listening to this unheard voices, and not just inspiring, motivating, but also it connects oneself with all those voices. There are millions and millions of voices which never get heard, and when you hear those stories, they reflect a lot with our own. So I'm really amazed with this, and I hope this continues and this stays this way, and lot many join this platform and take this opportunity also to come and share their views, ideas, and make some difference in their own personal life, not just talking but also listening. I'm done. I'm Pawan. Thanks for getting me here.
Thank you. And welcome to Course and others in the audience. This is our weekly reflection room, and today we're experimenting with a live stream to YouTube as well, so you can see me, Bartola, and Stellan on. We're in a video Zoom call, so you can see our faces on YouTube. And if you want to join that YouTube room, so you can see your face as well, or else we will just be able to hear your voice. You just DM me or Bartola, so we'll give you the Zoom link as well. But the YouTube link is on my Twitter, and there's also a photo of the rigging Stellan has done to get it out on YouTube. A simple exercise. So Stellan can talk about it if anyone is curious, but we just share reflection for the week here. So welcome, Ellen. What's your reflection of this week?
Hi, everyone. My name is Elan, and I'm based in Playa del Carmen, Mexico. I was invited to the room by Bert Ola, with whom I've been connected for several years now. And I'm pleasantly surprised by how much I enjoy Clubhouse. I had been hearing about it for months, like being connected to folks in Silicon Valley, but I kind of brushed it off. And since joining, I realized, how many treasures lie within. Like it's like there are millions of unique worlds on this one platform, right? In a way that may also be true of like Facebook, but it doesn't quite land the same. I think perhaps because of what someone might have mentioned earlier, the audio component really changes things. So my name is Elan, and I am complete. Thank you.
Hello, beloveds. This is Turquoise, and hello, Elan. I don't have anything particularly to say quite yet. I've been very busy in the Emergent Church and the Integral Leadership Room this morning, and this is my second or my third of 4 rooms on Sunday. But I see that, Elan, you have that you're a meta-modernist in your bio, and the next room that I'm part of after this is the Meta-Modernist Club, and we do a 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. room. If you're curious to join, there's a Meta-Modernist Club, so I just suggest that the one room that they do that the club does is today after this room, I believe. So just a suggestion. I'm complete.
I'm a meta-modernist and a game B person as well. As
yeah, I usually see you there. I looked in Ellen's bio and didn't see you in part of the Meta-Modernist Club, and just wanted to invite you if that was something you felt called to be a part of.
I absolutely do feel called to be part of it. Thank you so much, Turquoise and Michael, for hosting. And I'm so excited right now. I'm feeling
So I want to ask you, Turquoise. I'll go ahead, Ellen. But after that, Turquoise, can you give a good definition of a meta-modernist for the people listening? Because I can do it, but I will probably get some of the words wrong and stuff like that. But there's good and bad definitions of meta-modernism.
So yeah, I'm feeling a lot of excitement and warmth, Turquoise, as I heard your voice and your invitation, as well as I also have gone down the rabbit hole that is integral theory. And so when I saw the word turquoise, I was like, I wonder if they're referring to the integral framework. So anyway, thank you so much, and I look forward to that room.
Yeah, I'm going to actually, if either of you want to give it a definition, I want to invite Ellen. And so I have to have my screen up and kind of focused on getting that link and then pinging them in. So give me a second while I do that. If somebody wants to give a modernist description, I can't divide my brain attention between that, my cat, and the link and the definition. So I'll be back. All right, I'm complete.
Yeah, I can go else. But
So Michael, you said this room has been on and YouTube for a while now. So what has been your experience, and what different opinions, thoughts, and regions of the world you have seen come and speak up here?
no, this is we just opened this room, so it's been running for 15 minutes, right, only. So, but so this is the first experiment of us live streaming. But we were in a Zoom room last night, me and Tukos and Bertola. That wasn't on Clubhouse, talking about all kinds of things. And that is on YouTube as well. You can find that link in my Twitter feed as well from last night.
Okay.
But yeah, so this is a thing we do. We did it a year ago with Stella before Clubhouse was on. We did a 72-hour or 78-hour live stream, mostly on YouTube. But in my Captain Future show, I did the 1 7-hour session. So I found out that I can keep going and just listen and talk all night. So that's a fun experiment. And now I found out on Clubhouse that I can actually stay on Clubhouse so up to 100 hours per week and not get any type of fatigue, just listening to people and do some talking as well. So this is a superpower I discovered, and I think Clubhouse is fantastic. I know it's not for everyone. We can see right now that we have our Learning Society room. I can see we are around 900 people there, and 15% of them are online right now. So that's a high engagement. People on Clubhouse in general, they're way over 20 million people here now. And Thomas Power did a calculation that maybe 1% is active on Clubhouse of the people who have signed up on the app. So many people just sign up and never come back here. Maybe they're just curious and want to see what it is. Maybe they have a bad first experience here on Clubhouse and don't understand what it is about and stuff like that. But if you're curious and don't give up, you can actually come back here. So for people who actually are curious and join a club like Learning Society, there's a much higher engagement for people. What we can see around the clock there, they go somewhere between 10 and 15% of the people who is in Learning Society Club are active on Clubhouse online. So I think that's about right, Bertola.
Yeah, great.
So maybe I can fill in with a little extra idea here. I mean, right now, everyone who is talking here is on Clubhouse. So you have entered that gate in some sense. You had to have some kind of a idea that Clubhouse existed. You have had an idea that there were interesting themes, and you also needed an iPhone. So what we're doing now is that there is also a stream going on and on YouTube. So for you who are following us on YouTube, you only see the faces of 3 people, but we have right now on the stage in Clubhouse 9 people, and that in itself is an interesting connection. I mean, maybe this is the first experience that someone without an iPhone can have on Clubhouse. So that's another idea here, to connect platforms and also have those learning dialogues on so many levels. And right now we have used this as a concept. We call it Learning Society. You have it already in Clubhouse, and we have the same name now in this YouTube stream, and it's all in this Best for the World broadcast. And if you want to check out the other concept, it's bestforthe.world, and you can also engage. We still have spots left, and I realize now that there are new people have entered this room. And yes, so everyone knows that it's also live stream on YouTube. So if you come up on the stage, it's not that you're visible, but your voice will be streamed in One More Media. Yeah.
Can
Thanks.
I just get the link, Michael, for this, for the YouTube? And I'll pass
on
it
my
on.
Twitter.
I'll
So
check
if
it
you
out.
go down to my Twitter.
Okay, thank you.
What button on my profile? It's the first tweet.
Beautiful.
Let's go to Elliot. What's your reflection of the week, and have you been I think there's quite a few recordings now in parallel to other platforms. I've seen a lot of red dots today and the last days. So what's your reflection, Elliot?
Reflections on my experience on Clubhouse this week?
Yeah, whatever it is, like we listen into the weeks or the future ideas you're working on. You have a lot of great rooms. So what do you see emerging? What is on your mind? What do you think about? What you want to do ahead? Can be whatever.
Thank you. It was a good week. Had, just again, it's I guess starting to get used to it, but it's still such a happy surprise to be able to connect with so many mission-driven people and so many thoughtful people. And so for those who I guess I haven't met, I've been running 3 rooms weekly for the last month or so. On Wednesdays, running decentralized governance on Clubhouse. This week had Phoebe Tickell, who's a systems thinker and co-founder of DGov Foundation, and has done so many amazing things. And she stayed maybe for an hour, and then the room went for another 3 or 4. The one that I'm kind of always just taken by is Changemakers United on Thursdays. We just ask people to come up and share their story and ways that people in the room could support them. And already, just to hear those stories is amazing. But then to have people call out specifically what they need, and in a room full of mission-driven people, is a really wonderful thing to see, because there's just been so many great synergies between people, whether it was a resource they needed or a suggestion for someone in their network that they should connect with. And yeah, equally connecting with some of these, bright-hearted people offline has been quite inspiring. And I've been trying to figure out, the plan for this year was to kind of not engage in any activities and just focus on my work and get my book and project to the next stage. But it's been quite wonderful. So I'm trying to find that balance, and I'm still, thankfully, the hedonic adaptation has not set in to the point that I no longer feel it's special to be able to connect with so many great people. So, to try to recount the brilliant ideas or the brilliant folks, I think I'd just take up too much stage time. So, I guess that would be a quick reflection. I don't know if that was very useful, but appreciate you having me up.
Nice to meet you, Elliot.
Likewise, then. Thank you.
Great. And Monica, welcome back. What's your reflection of the week?
Hi, Bertula. Hi, everybody. Very nice to be here. It's been actually a very interesting week, because just to give a little background, Bertula and I, we know each other we've been quite some clubs, different rooms together. And I can just say I work with technology, cyber security, and this month has been, and then I'm a big promoter of diversity and inclusion. So as you all know, this month has been Women's History Month. So I've been very active actually promoting diversity and inclusion, not just for gender, but for all different kinds of, whether it's race, background, opinions, or whatnot. And this week, I think 2 of my new blogs got published, and it was really interesting. I got really good feedback from people, and I feel like everybody working on it is quite fantastic. Another thing I've been working on this week was really interesting, because we had some discussions on artificial intelligence. So that's another thing that I've been working on, because I work in the field of cybersecurity, but I work in healthcare. So I'm the I work as the Chief Information Security Officer in healthcare and public sector, and we use we're looking into a lot of frameworks for how we can apply AI into healthcare and what are the risks that we need to take into consideration, both from an ethical point of view and other different risks as well that are associated with it. So it's quite interesting and fascinating field. I am working now with a radiologist. So I'm based in Norway. So I'm working in the public sector of Norway and working with a radiologist to write a blog on it as well. It's going to be coming on my website. I'm actually quite active on social media, especially on YouTube and LinkedIn and Clubhouse. And I really love how Clubhouse has taken it onto this audio level. It's just, I think that's what was missing, because I've been a public speaker for many years as well, and I really enjoy communicating and conversing. And there's one thing of just putting the ideas on a text form, but especially in this pandemic, you miss being physically in contact with people. And I believe Clubhouse is probably the thing that we really needed at this point to feel even more close to people and have conversations at such a different level, much more than just messaging and texts and blogs and so on. So it's been quite interesting. And the third thing that I've been now in this weekend working quite much on is launching my next season of my podcast show. So I'm also a podcast host and producer, and I bring guests from all over the world, actually everywhere, to talk about cybersecurity, technology, privacy, and all these different important aspects, and diversity and inclusion as well, especially in technology and cybersecurity industry, because it's quite male dominated, independent of where you go. Somebody recently asked me, because I've lived in so many different countries, including some developing countries and some developed countries, and people were, I shared some experiences of myself as well in terms of diversity and lack of diversity in technology and cybersecurity. And somebody was actually mentioning, and they said, well, okay, these examples, I'm guessing they're from the developing countries or the third world countries. And I'm like, nope, not really. They're actually from very developed countries in Norway, in Europe or US or wherever. So I think these issues are so systemic in our society that we have to talk about them. And I recently heard some issues of lack of rights for women at such different levels of what tasks they're provided, how much, pay grade, we already know that, and what kind of safety measures are for them in workplace. And I'm shocked even today to hear about these things, but this is the reality, and we have to just face it, and we have to work towards it in a more sustainable level. So it's very important. And I talk quite a lot about how important it is to talk about these things at the age of kids, because growing up, I shared actually this story with I was interviewed recently on my experiences growing up from diversity and security, and what made me actually really care about this topic is because, and I shared this story from my own life, that when I was growing up as a kid, my father would tell me and my sister, so we are two female siblings, and he would tell us growing up that never let anyone tell you that you can't do something because you're women. And I did not really understand that when I was growing up. Like, why would we think that? It sounded like really like, okay, sure, why not? And then when you enter the society and the workplace, and especially in industries that are like engineering, technology, and all these different, and even shipping and maritime, I don't know, so many different industries that are so different. And I realized that how important it is that we have to actually teach kids that, and I believe the reason I am fighting or standing and raising my voice for this is because of that saying that my father used to tell us growing up, that still stays with me today, to this point and to this date. So it's been an interesting week all in all. A lot of things have happened, and I'm very thankful to have platforms like these, to have members and fellow community like yours, and to be able to bring this together, because ultimately we're all in this together. So thank you.
It would be interesting to hear, you have been here for some weeks and you are frequent on other social media platforms. So have you figured out how best to use Clubhouse in a way for in your settings and in your context, or do you start to see an idea of where you can use Clubhouse?
Yeah, I've been in a lot of these rooms where we talk about technology in part of this group, friends. We talk about other technology groups where we're talking about AI and the emerging technologies and what impacts they have on our lives. I'm also in a lot of these rooms where, because I'm interested in entrepreneurship, I'm interested in opening my own business. So I mean, this platform is beautiful for learning and learning from other people's experience. So I think one of the things that I find the most amazing about Clubhouse is that you get to share your experience and you get to learn from other people's experience on a much easier, low threshold level, right? I mean, yes, you read these blogs and posts and stuff, but you miss a lot of emotions. You miss a lot of one-to-one question and answer, and you miss a lot of nuances of what people really have behind those experiences and those words. So I've been using this for sharing my experiences and my learnings, hearing from other people.
Monica, thank you much. It's beautiful. I'm just really wanting to swing back to what you're doing with security and kids and really getting that voice out. I think it's really key. I just have an 18-year-old that just went off to college, and I just know raising her versus I have 4 older kids that didn't have the tech age as extreme in social media. And I just really am excited about that topic. So, where are you speaking about it? How can we learn about it? It's super exciting. Thank you.
Absolutely. I can suggest you all to just either follow me on LinkedIn. I regularly post on LinkedIn, even about the Clubhouse rooms that I am a part of or that are coming. I regularly post on LinkedIn about also all the podcasts that I put out, because these podcasts are so simple and high level in the sense that they're not very technical. They're for everyone who want to understand and are interested in cybersecurity, either as a student or somebody who wants to break into leadership, or somebody who wants to just understand how can they switch from one industry to another. So it caters to a much broader audience. I post all of these things mostly on either LinkedIn or on my website, which is monicatalkcyber.com. It's literally like a one-stop shop for everything that I do. So you will find most of the information on these 2 platforms. And then I use other platforms, obviously, to spread the information as well, including YouTube channel, which is also Monica Talk Cyber, and Instagram and all these things. But they're spread through LinkedIn and my website. And then I come on Clubhouse, and either I'm invited as a speaker. So if you follow me, you will know which rooms am I in. Then you can hear more about it as well. Maybe that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, thank you, Monica. And I also want to say, anyone joining this room right now, this is our weekly reflection room, Listen, Link and Learn for the Learning Society. And today we're experimenting to live stream the audio to YouTube. And you will also see the face of me, Bertola, and Stella. So the link for the YouTube is on my Twitter feed. And if you want to join the Zoom room and have your beautiful face on YouTube as well, DM me, Stella and Bertola, and we will give you the Zoom link as well. So, and welcome up to stage. You want to share the reflection of the week or something like that?
Before we move on, I'll have to jump in a second, and I actually just thought of something pretty powerful I learned this week that I'd love to share, if that's cool.
Yeah, cool. Go ahead.
So I was in an environment room yesterday, and a woman there recounted a description. I kind of only caught the tail end, but she was asking a friend, or someone was asking her friend, how, if the environment were a person, what would the state of that person be? Like, do they have a cold? Do they have, cancer? And pardon, it's a little, I'll try to be kind of gentle about it, but they had a pretty graphic description of like someone whose innards were, cut open and kind of splayed all out. And I won't be as graphic as they were, but it kind of, I think metaphors are really important in communicating things like that, like the state of the environment. And it made me, what I found powerful about it was that it allows us to, in a sense, shortcut a lot of the kind of rhetoric or pushback for those that maybe don't yet see the environment the situation with the environment as real, or climate change is real, or whatever, because it allows us to ask, okay, well, whether the state of the environment is at that kind of grotesque state or not, if it were at that state, what would be the right response? And it allows us to, and working those hypotheticals with someone who maybe is not, is a climate denier, or however we want to frame it, allows us to kind of get out of them, like, at what stage would there be, like, what would have to happen for there to be kind of emergency responses, so to speak. And I think I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get across exactly what I'm thinking, but the idea being that if we can um, get people to kind of acknowledge that if things were at X level, then that would warrant a serious response, even if they don't believe that things are at X level. Then we can kind of get halfway to getting them to kind of get on board, so to speak. So what I mean is, okay, if ever the Earth got to the stage where things were so bad that it was like someone who was like totally cut open, then what would be the right response? Presumably using the Socratic method like that, we could get them to agree, okay, at a certain point, we should, whatever their response might be, drop everything and focus on them. Then we can start having discussion of how would we know whether it is at that stage. So I thought the metaphor was powerful, but I thought it also opened up the door to kind of have a discussion with someone who maybe has gotten caught in the echo chamber of polarized social media feeds, and not only doesn't believe that things are serious with the environment, but believes that if you believe so, that you've been brainwashed. I feel like it can allow us to open not just the metaphor, but then that kind of questioning can allow us to open the discussion to just as a half measure, if things were this bad, what would be a good response? And then we can start, getting into, if we can get something out of them, then we can get into a discussion around, okay, how would we know if things were this bad? So I'm not sure if that was all clear, but hit me quite powerfully, and hopefully I'll be able to kind of craft it over the next few weeks into something more applicable. But thank you for the time and the ability to share.
Great. Do you take notes on all sessions you do? And you said you were going to work on a book this year, I think.
Yeah, this is a book. I mean, it's for global unity. I've been working on it for maybe 8 or 9 years, and just had to put it on pause to kind of focus on business for the last few years. So the book's not on like my Clubhouse experience exactly, but part of the, half of the plan for it is a tech-enabled ecosystem of platforms, each kind of addressing one or a few of various issues, but so small a percentage of the population is going to read a nonfiction book, or a white paper, or even engage with a platform like this. As amazing as the growth on Clubhouse or Facebook are, there's how many people are not on those platforms. And so if we really, in these platforms and a nonfiction book, they'd be designed to kind of capture people's minds. But I think if we're really going to build a better world, we need to build a global movement. And if we're going to build a global movement, we have to hit people in the heart. And in order to do that, so the second kind of branch of the strategy is more of fiction or narrative-based works that speak to the imagination. So I'll give a quick example that maybe Bertolo, you've heard me share before, but how do we talk to kids about the environment? What's happening What's causing all this environmental degradation? The burning of fossil fuels. What are fossil fuels? They're fossils. What are fossils? Decomposed organic matter. So as a society, we dig up the dead, we burn them to fuel our horseless chariots, and as a result, we're poisoning our children. If we heard this in a Harry Potter book, we would know there was some evil wizard or force that we had to stand up against. But nothing I just described is scientifically untrue. It's just a different framing that I think importantly can speak the language of children. And so, long story short, the book, to answer your question, the book is not necessarily, so no, I guess your question was, am I taking notes in Clubhouse? I have not been, because it's been a little overwhelming, but we are working on a changemakers database that seems to have some parallels with some of the things Turquoise is doing as well. But yeah.
Elliot, thank you.
Thank you,
you.
Elliot. I'm going to chime in here because Stellan, who is streaming to YouTube here, is going to end the YouTube stream. We will keep the room open, but Stellan will give some closing words for the YouTube stream as we close it down.
Yeah, and thank you all for being part of this. You're actually part of a bigger concept than the Best for the World broadcast. So we have had this one concept here, streaming the Learning Society from Clubhouse into to a YouTube stream. And thank you all for being part of that, and also all of you who have been tapping into the YouTube stream. Thank you very much, and you can keep on engaging in the comments on YouTube. And if you want to engage in Clubhouse and you need a cicerone, I would say some of the people that you heard today, I've seen them on many different rooms in Clubhouse, and definitely I know that Michael and Batola will help you out. So reach out to them. They are open-minded persons, and hopefully they can help you out. So by that, I'm now ending the YouTube stream, and